Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, welcome back to the stream. We're going to try something a little different today. Something different, but hopefully that it's enjoyable for everyone. So weapon tier lists on Apex Legends are, well, it's very difficult. Put a lot of guns into very specific categories. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, I do have music in the background. I actually am playing Chrono Trigger, original soundtrack. Something a little bit enjoyable. I'm about to tweet everything out. Just for the first part of the stream, I just want to welcome everyone. FaZe, Carly, Night Shadow, Ryan, Gamer Toast, Jake. I may not be first, but I'm not last. Welcome. It's good to have everyone here. So we're going to do a tier list, and today's going to be a very... maybe, I don't know how long this will take. Maybe like 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to timestamp everything. Everything will be timestamped, I promise, at the end of the stream. Welcome, Fen. It's great to have you. And weapon tier lists are so complicated and they're very tricky. So I figured the best thing to do would be to do this live and with a million different categories. Let's go into it. So let's talk about the categories that we're going to be discussing. The categories that we're discussing here, and this is live by the way, is going to be my personal tier list. So my own personal list, the iron sight list. So the irons of every single gun. We're going to go over ranked list, arena list, tournament list, casual list, offensive list, defensive list, and then we're going to break things down as well from each weapon category. So real quick, let me just make sure everyone knows that we're live, because this is live. This is such a tricky one, and I want your guys' input as we keep going through each of the guns, and we'll talk through every single bit of this. And I figured that, again, this would be best done if it was just interactive. And I could be wrong, you know, maybe we never do this again because it crashes and burns and it was the worst idea that I've ever had. But listen, I feel like I've had worse ideas in life. And also with the category list, before I used to timestamp it and have each and every category, I figure what I want to do is, we'll essentially put every single one randomly in the list. So we'll just kind of go in order based on what we see below, and then we'll reset it every single time. So we got a lot to discuss here. I'll take your feedback and I'll try to explain my reasoning for every single one of them. So let's start with something with my own personal tier list. Now, the start here is just my own personal guns that I really resonate with. I figured we'd get my own personal thoughts out of the way, and then we can kind of engage and go further into there. Let me know, by the way, if the music is too loud, too quiet, if you want it turned up. I'd love your feedback as well on that. Are we doing like regular iron sights or with skins? Regular irons. Regular irons are stock across the board. Okay, now personal tier list. Now this is my own personal tier list, and I have learned through the comment section that my own personal tier list is really strange. I play on mouse and keyboard assault. Maybe we'll put that in a tier list at the very end. So I'll start with my favorite guns. Love the music. It's working. It's good. Hopefully the music is not too loud. If you want it a little louder, we can turn it up as well. So my own personal tier list, let's just get started. Let's do this. So we have the list right up above. You see it. It's all locked in there. Let's talk about my personal guns. Okay, hear me out, but the wingman for me at the moment is definitely S tier for me. This is one of my favorite guns to use right now, and across every single game mode. I am just slapping with the wingman. I've felt more confident than any other season that I ever have, and I really, really enjoy it. Ooh, man, welcome. It's good to have you, and Cam Tolley, it's good to have you here as well. I'm doing well. Doing well. We're doing a live, interactive tier list. This is my own personal list. Okay, the Mozambique for me, we're just going to put the Mozambique here because the Mozambique is just there. My personal thoughts on the P2020, I believe that this sits with the Mozang, especially when there's no hammer points anymore. That's just my personal thoughts on that one, how I feel about it personally. Now, the RE45, I put it at C tier. The RE45 for me just is not, I don't know, I mean, people, I've seen a lot of comments about this where people really say that it really rivals the R99. I can kind of get down with that, but I mean, I always just prefer to grab an R301 and R99, just my own personal thoughts. Speaking of the R301, I'm going to move that to S tier. Still one of my hands down most favorite guns in the game. It's really, really strong. I love pairing it with the wingman. It's just It's there's like no recoil on that gun at all, like none. Can you make a buying legend guide? Of course, I can do one of those definitely. Okay, now the Bocek when it first came out was S tier for me, but I actually prefer grabbing the Wingman more now than the Bocek since they nerfed it. That's just my personal thoughts. Also, if you're enjoying what you see, don't forget to leave a like, because we got a long day on this list, a lot to cover. So maybe I'm crazy, okay, but I just trust my personal. I would rather headshot somebody with the Wingman and just keep shooting back to back and like just two-tap somebody. I love the feeling of two-tapping people. This is again, we're starting off with my personal tier list. The Kraber, S tier for me. Grab me the Kraber. I'll do amazing things with it. It's the one-shot king. Will change the game. It's broken. Everyone dislikes it. That's a pro player because it just slaps. It's just that good. Now, I have personal feelings about the Spitfire. This is the Spitfire that you're seeing here. I am not a fan of the Spitfire. I know it's good. I feel so dirty using the Spitfire, and I don't know how I feel about this one. Again, I know you guys in chat will probably advocate for this gun, and again, this is just starting with my personal thoughts. This probably should belong in A and S tier. I just feel really wrong using it. I just personally do. Okay, I really like using the triple take a ton, but I would, if the care package came out, I'd very much prefer to see a Kraber. But as a nice second option, I put the triple take here. This is my own personal standings and where I prefer to see the guns. Just my personal thoughts. Hey, Cripsy, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Good to have all of you guys here. Now, next up is the Hemlock. Where would I put the Hemlock? I guess I'll put the Hemlock at A. B. It's like in between A or B for me. My personal thoughts. It's... Oh, gosh, I mean, it's been nerfed a lot in the hipfire. It just sucks when you're in a close quarter gunfight with the Hemlock and the spread of the bullets just kind of go everywhere. Charles, it's great to have you here, man. Good to have you. The Alternator is C tier, partly because I prefer to grab an R99 or R301 personally. That is why I'm placing it at C. I know a lot of casuals, which these lists, by the way, are going to change a lot. We're starting off with my personal bias, so we can get this out of the way. So then we can start to really structure this. And if I get my personal bias out of the way, I think I'll feel a little better. Okay. I'm going to drop the G7 Scout on B tier. Realistically, it probably should sit around C. But I really enjoy the Scout for picking. If I don't get any of the aforementioned bow, triple take, Kraber, I'm going to rank the longbow higher, but I'm really strange as a person. So I just want the chat to acknowledge that I'm really weird, okay? In terms of some of the guns that I really like. Speaking of longbow, you guys are going to think I'm insane for saying this, but I really love the longbow. It's probably because I played a lot of Battlefield. I slap with this gun. I destroy people with it. I've gotten a lot of clips on it. These are my own personal preference thoughts on the longbow. The flatline, I think I'll put on A2. Darn it, this is tough. The Hemlock and the flatline, I should almost do a B+ and put both the Hemlock and flatline there. I struggle between putting the flatline in A and B personally, because I'd very much prefer to grab an R99. Because if I'm going to grab a Wingman, I don't want to run a Wingman and a flatline and Hemlock together, so that's why I dropped these lower. Again, starting with a personal list. Starting personal. Excuse me. And then we'll kind of go into... I mean, the Skull Piercer's baked in now, Orca. It's baked in now. That's why I have it on S, because of that. Now, let's see here. 3030 is C tier. Partly because I would prefer to grab a Wingman. I would, with the anvils, with the flatline, I mean, you just have more versatility with the flatline now with anvils. So I'm placing it at C. I'd very much prefer to get a G7 to kind of balance things out. These are my personal thoughts. The Volt is my S tier in terms of SMG. I love the Volt. I'll pair that every single day with the Wingman. And if I don't get a Volt, then I'll grab an R301. I love that gun. It shreds. Now the Prowler I'm gonna drop over an A tier. The Prowler's really strong. It's just with the care package weapons, I would very much prefer to get a triple take or Kraber. The last thing I want is a Prowler, but it's not bad. I'll take it if I can. Now for the Sentinel, I'm gonna drop it down to B. The damage is 70, and with the Deadeye's tempo, I've been doing a lot of work with this gun recently. I hate the Prowler when the game came out, but now it's not bad, right? Not bad. Yeah, the Skull Piercer is always on the Wingman. The Skull Piercer has been removed from the game altogether. I see chat talking about R99. Now, the only reason I'm putting the R99 in my personal list on A tier is strictly because I would prefer to grab an R301 or a Volt. Personally, I'd slap a 3X on the R301 with a Wingman every single day of the week. It's extremely stable. You can shred people from a decent range, and it's really strong. It's a nice combo. Why isn't the Flatline higher? This is a personal tier list. Just my personal thoughts. We got like a million categories to go through today. I'm just starting off with my personal biased, so I can get that out of the way so we can kind of discuss where some of these guns sit. EVA 8, I would probably put around B or A. I like running it as a second tier weapon, personally. I think it's really strong. I love pairing it with the Wingman. It's good for close range. I rock it in arena. It's a lot of fun to use. I really enjoy using the EVA, especially R301 EVA, Volt EVA. I mean, I will grab the EVA and pair it with quite a few weapons. Now, the Devotion. I know the Devotion is really strong. I put in the category of the Spitfire. I feel really dirty using these guns. I don't know why. I just feel really... Are you streaming on a Saturday? Kind of. I mean, I'm doing a tier list. This is going to turn into a VOD. And this is just my... I shouldn't be dropping the Devotion this low. I know it belongs in S and A, but my personal bias, my personal tier list, I dropped this down. Can you explain Spitfire and C? Because I feel dirty using it. It belongs in A and S, or S and A, realistically, I think. But every time I pick this gun up, and I feel like the game is on easy mode, and I don't like using it. I would prefer to use a Wingman instead, because then I get a lot more personal satisfaction on using it. Charge Rifle, I hate the Charge Rifle. I don't like using it. I would rather grab a Sentinel, a Longbow, any other gun of the whole week. So yeah, that's where I would put the Charge Rifle. Charge Rifle Charlie's, I don't know. The Havoc is not bad. I put that one in B. I don't mind it. The horizontal recoil is less than it used to be, so it's not bad. I dig it. Black Belt, it's good to see you. Good to see you, man. L-Star. Probably C. Unless you're playing Arena, then it's like S tier. Maybe I'll put it in B. That's my personal thoughts. Personal biased. Now for shotguns, I'm probably going to put both the Mastiff and... honestly, any one of these shotguns are really nice to have. I would prefer an EVA first, but like with the Mastiff is really nice, and I've gotten really comfortable with using it. Maybe I'll drop the PK personal to B, because if I see an EVA or a Mastiff, I'll probably grab them. And the reason why, personal bias, personal thoughts, because this is my personal list starting off initially, is the Peacekeeper. I just suck with it now because I haven't used it as much. I'm not used to the velocity comparatively, and I just need to get better with it. I just don't like running a whole lot of shotguns personally. I like having a Wingman or a Volt, a Kraber, an R301. Like, these are the guns I would love to grab, and I would boost up like the triple take or a longbow on that list. But these are kind of my interchangeable weapons from S and A, and what you'll probably see in my toolkit. Okay. What we've done here is we've created a list starting with my personal list. Now, just as a reminder, we're going to be going through a lot of categories. We're starting off with my personal list, but now we're going to go into Iron Sight list. Let me remove all of these from the screen, and let's discuss the level of irons for each of these guns. And we're talking about non-pay-to-win skins, so none of the skins that make it look nicer or neater. We're going to drop all of these down and talk about the irons for each and every single one of the guns. So next up is now the Iron Sight tier list. And if you're enjoying what you see, is don't forget to leave a like on this. This is a live interaction conversation. Now we're gonna do tier list. We got my personal bias out of the way. Okay, so now let's try to talk shop. And again, I know press reset, but the problem is I have to put the categories in here, so I don't want to reset it because I'm lazy. So I like to do things weird. Okay, Iron Sight tier list. Let's talk about irons, right? Yeah, there's gonna be a lot here. My S tier list for irons, I love the Volt S tier. They're really clean. It's really clean, right, chat? Am I crazy? Yeah, this is live. So, why still bottom? Because it's just a meme. Mozambique's a meme. Volt iron is lit. Okay, I'm glad we agree on that because it's really, really strong. I love the irons on the Volt. Okay, why you guys are talking about Wingman? Hold on. Why is the irons on the Wingman S tier? Why is it good? Why would that be good? Because we all know that the irons are really rough on the wing, especially, remember, default Wingman. It blocks half of your screen. Right? Am I going crazy? Before I place the Wingman, because I'm gonna kind of drop it a little lower, honestly, on the Wingman. Okay, all right. Havoc irons are Wingman irons are terrible. Okay, thank you. Okay, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better than that. B or C on the Wingman. Wingman B or C, which I agree. Okay, let's. Honestly, I would drop it down to C, especially default, the really fat skin on the Wingman. But somebody's saying A or S. Okay, we're talking default, the fat skin, not the pay to win skin, the regular skin. Okay, is really, really rough. You have to have the pay to win skin. If you got the pay to win skin, it's a completely different list altogether. Okay. So now let's talk about Kraber. Kraber is easy because it comes with a default sight, which is an amazing sight. That's easy. Easy. I think we should all be in agreement about that. Now let's move on to Alternator. Alternator iron sights are extremely clean. It's pre-recorded. No, it's not, Scotty. It's live. I do not even remember what the regular skin. If you go look at the regular skin, go in the test range, and then tell me I'm crazy about the Wingman. It's fat. Okay, it blocks your screen. Alternator iron sights are extremely clean. The iron sights look amazing. Scott, it's not pre-recorded. What are you talking about, man? What are you crazy? The Prowler irons. I guess they're not bad, right? The Prowler irons, they're not bad at all. Remember, it is in the care package now, so I'm gonna rate it a little higher because you do get nice sights right off the rip. But the irons default irons, I think they're pretty clean. It doesn't really obstruct the view too much, and they're pretty good, I think. So I'm putting the Prowler on A, unless you guys like talk me out of it and say that it's. I see some B's there for the Prowler. I don't know. Well, because the structure. Maybe I'm just doing a really good stream. If I'm doing a really good stream, that's awesome. Okay, the Bocek bow irons are actually really, really clean. Where's the Bocek bow? I would put this in the same category as the Prowler. It's probably like A or B. Like, they're really nice. I mean, it almost looks like a hollow sight. You don't need to put anything in there. We said the Prowler iron is trash. Should we drop the Prowler down to B? We could drop it down to B. I'll drop it down to B. That's fine. If that's where we all think it is. But I'm still confident that, if you gave me the bow just off drop, it's really good. Some people just miss it. It says because if they join, it says start a stream. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay. Remember. Okay, let me change default. Let me change the text. Iron sight tier list. Let me put in here default. Default skins. There we go. So you don't forget. Okay? Default skins. All right? Bow is A. Okay, let's move on. Mastiff iron sights. Mastiff. I mean, they're not bad. It's I mean, it's a Mastiff, right? I put it in B. It's better than a Wingman, right? Better than a Wingman. You guys are going back and forth between Prowler being A or B. You guys are gonna kill each other. Bocek B, Prowler A. Do we create a new one? Just say B plus. What do you mean default skins? Meaning that the iron sights of, like, so you don't like use pay to win skins. Pay to win skins, right? Now the longbow has an extremely clear sight. I think it's really clean. I mean, it's pretty much a red dot, so that should be on A. It's cleaner than the Mastiffs. Come on, listen. It's better. It's cleaner than the Mastiffs across the board. It just is, right? And plus, most people hit fire anyway. Keep in mind, Beyonda, this is iron. We're talking about iron sights. Iron sights. Make a B plus. Okay, let's try to keep it simple. Let's keep trucking. Okay. The triple tick is B tier. It matches pretty much the same irons as the Mastiff. It's clean. It's not bad. At range, it can kind of get a little muddied, but it's not the end of the world, right? The R99, the default skin with that little U shape. I really don't like the U shape of the R99. I think it looks awful. I can't stand using it. I'm going to drop it same level in the Wingman. I hate the U. It really bothers me. I think the Prowler iron sight is way cleaner. Way cleaner, because it's got the little red dot there. So I'm dropping the R99 personal for the as a default iron. A tier? Are you what? You think that the R99 is A tier? There's no way. The default skin is awful. There's nobody likes a default R99 skin, right? I hope. R99 looks like a Mosin sight, yeah, right? Everyone gets the pay to win skin on this. JE36, good to see ya. Prowler A and R99B. I think we'll keep trucking along. The P2020, we're gonna move it here. It's a meme gun, okay? The irons also suck on it. I don't like those irons. The R845 has that little circle red thing, same as the Wingman, so I think it belongs in the C list because it's practically the same gun. I'm going to put the G7 as the same as the Mozambique. The G7 irons are probably the worst irons in the whole game. I can't stand looking at the irons of that gun. It's pretty rough. It's really bad. The Hemlock it's got the circle, but it's not awful. It's a hollow. Okay, chat. Need help on the Hemlock. Hemlock, where do we put it? We can't put the RE45 at B tier if we're gonna judge the Wingman with the circle. We can't do that. That doesn't make it. I don't know if that makes sense. Right? So Hemlock chat. Where are we saying the Hemlock belongs? Do we believe? I feel like it belongs in B. Okay. All right, we're good with that. I think it belongs in B. We're getting a consensus in B. Hemlock is so bad. I mean, but it's better than a Wingman. It's better than an R9. Okay, I feel like the consensus is mostly B, so we're going to leave it at B. Flatline. Default skin. C tier. Default skin on the flatline. Remember, not the nice clean post. We're talking about the... I mean, it's not as bad as a G7. It's not the meme guns of a Mosang and a P2020. I mean, those are meme guns, you know. I'm putting the meme guns down below. A flatline, I don't. It's unique. You know, some people will say that the flatline deserves to be on S. But for somebody who's new, when you're looking at the various sites, the flatline feels really uncomfortable. Or A. It's just... What I like about the flatline is that looking at a line and then shooting, but it's probably the most... Can we just agree that it's just a unique gun for somebody to utilize? Can we agree on that? Because either you're going to love the flatline or you're going to hate it. I don't know if there's any in between. Okay, I'll move it up to B. Fair. Agreed. We'll move it up to B. We'll put it in B instead. I was being a little too harsh. We'll put it up to B as a consensus. It's not A. It's not C. We'll put it on B as a middle ground. But the reason why is that it's extremely over. It's either you love the irons or you hate it, right? So we'll put it in between. Okay, EVA 8. Who uses the irons of the EVA 8? That belongs in the C tier. If you're using the irons in the EVA 8 and you're not hip firing that thing, something's wrong with you, right? I think that's a big problem. Spitfire D tier, you guys I agree. I'm gonna put in the Mozambique. The Spitfire is really rough on the irons. It's almost like G7. You can't see anything. I remember early on playing Apex Legends and seeing Dr. Disrespect talk about the Spitfire and him complain immensely saying, I can't see anything with these sights. Vuxer, have a good one, man. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. Now let's move on to the L-Star. The L-Star, I think, probably sits around B. It's like the Prowler. It's not bad. It's not awful. It's just the bullets are bigger than the irons, so I really like the irons of the Havoc, personally. They're really clean. I mean, it's like a unique holo. Do you guys agree with the Havoc? Or should we just drop it? L-Star C? Okay, fine. Fine. L-Star C. Fine. Okay. I'm fine with that. Maybe I was giving a little too much credit. I was giving it too much credit. But I mean, because you can't see anything with the L-Star. But it's the best arena gun, right? Quite literally, it's the best gun in the arena. Okay, Havoc is A. I'm glad we all agree on that. That's good. Charge rifle. Irons? I mean, you can't really miss with this gun. It's like a Havoc. I put it really high up. Like, thinking of the irons on it. It's really strong. What are we missing here? We have the R301. Probably the R301, one of the most unique irons in the game. But I think they're not bad at all. It's really good. I'm trying to think where to put the R301. I want to put the R301 in A. You're not really going to miss with it. It's really good. Sounds like we're looking at B. Yeah, the arena list is going to be in a little bit. Don't worry, at the VOD, we're going to timestamp everything, I promise. R3B. Okay. I mean, it is unique. It's a love-hate relationship with it. I get that. I can see it. I can see that. Let's talk about the Peacekeeper. The irons, in my opinion, are really rough. I put it down to C. I have a hard time seeing when I'm trying to shoot irons on the PK. I'm mostly going to hip fire it. So let's drop that down. The Devotion irons are like the Prowler, so I'm going to put those around B. They're not bad. They're actually pretty good. It's pretty clean. Sentinel irons are like the longbow. You got the nice red dot. They're really sharp. The irons of the G3030. Why can't I remember the irons of the 3030? I'm blanking on it. Hold on, let me see here. 3030 irons. 3030 repeater. Hold on. I just need to see what they look like. Yeah, those are bad. I'm dropping that down for far. I don't know if I can. It blocks so much of the screen, man. You can barely see. So I have a hard time putting that one anywhere high up. Okay, so this is the list for irons. I mean, everyone loves the alternator. It's super clean. Kraber just comes in with a scope. Volta's S. These are all they're all relatively clean. And then as we keep going down the list, it looks less clean. Some of them become a little wishy-washy, like the Flatline and the R301, where it starts to feel like wishy-washy. Besides bottom. Well, that's the problem gaming it, is that you can't. It blocks too much. No, that pick problem you got from Google. Is it? Okay. Devotion CT. I mean, it's got the same irons as a Prowler. So let's lock in this list. We'll say this is a list for now. Okay, this is a decent list. Like if somebody came to you, there's some debate that they can go one way or the other, but this isn't bad. And again, the reason why, Chris, we put the Flatline in terms of irons on B is because some people were saying A, some were saying C, so we met the middle ground and we said B. Because some of them are the pay-to-win skins. Again, they are, but we're doing default. Shubs, we're doing default. We're doing default skins. Remember, like the really fat wingman skin, the really bad U-shape on the R99. Like we're doing default skins. Like we're not doing the nice skins. Okay, let's reset and we're gonna do now ranked. If you're playing ranked, let's talk about this list. And I'm gonna be weird. I'm gonna drag all these down because I don't want to redo the list. And again, I will timestamp all of this. Let's talk about if you're playing ranked, what are your guns gonna be when you play ranked? I think one of the easy ones to put when you're playing ranked that's very popular among pros. I mean, let's just leave the Kraber up here, okay? The Kraber, if you're playing ranked, is probably going to be one of the best guns. It's a one-shot magnet. It's like the Kraber consistently always going to be the best gun? Is it because everyone wants it nerfed right now, right? Right? This is a ranked list. Like if you got the Kraber out of it, I think the Kraber is consistently going to be. It's almost like I should just let it sit here. SR301, well, that's easy. Yeah, I agree. Let's throw the R301 already at S. That's an easy one to throw up. This is for ranked. If the Kraber is S, the triple take has to be A. Because if you go to the care package and you look at the care package, you can't have both. If you were to choose between the two, you would probably grab a Kraber. Now, unless chat disagrees with me, I would put the triple take at an A, because it's still a darn good gun, but I believe it should live a little bit further below. Now, you knew my personal bias with the wingman. Volt is S. Okay, well, let's just show the Volt, and I agree. The Volt is S in ranked. It's really good. The EVA 8 is S. I agree with that one as well. It slaps. It's a really good one. Okay, Flatline S. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that one. But I agree with the EVA 8 being S. If we were to put the Flatline, I would probably put it around A. Personally. Everyone keep... okay, I'm going to hover this over the screen. I want to know in chat right now, where does the Flatline live? Where does the Flatline? We can't just keep putting every gun on S. No, we're not talking skins anymore. You can have whatever one you want now. Okay, we're gonna move it over to A. I think it can sit in A. That's fine. I can agree with that. Now for ranked, this one's pretty clear. The alternator either belongs in B or C. I'm going to drop the alternator down to C. 100% the reason why is because if you're playing end zone and the last ring and this man's got an alternator in a high tier lobby of ranked, that man has issues, or he's trying to flex on you and he's going to go to your stream and then talk mad game about you. They're like, I dunked on you with the alternator. So we're dropping down the alternator down to C, okay? I think you should list every gun should be... I agree. At the very end, I'm gonna do that. This is gonna be a longer stream. Okay, everyone agrees that the R99 should be S, so I'll bring it up to S. For ranked, I can agree with that, especially if you're getting really aggro. P2020 is really bad, so that goes down there. Mozambique, you're gonna see there's no hammers anymore. You're not gonna see anybody run that anymore. The longbow, I love the longbow, but everyone plays really aggro and comp, and so I'm going to drop this down to either B or C. My personal bias wants to put it up to B, but most likely what everyone's going to tell me in chat is going to be C. I feel like. L-Star is going to be C, because this is not arena. We're talking about ranked. If anybody runs up on you on Master or Pred, that's going to be really strange. Did he do arena guns? That's coming up next. Okay, so we agree with the longbow being C. RE45, C. Not going to see anybody end zone rocking on RE45. That's going to be super sus and really weird. The G7 and ranked. In tournaments, I'd rank it higher. But I don't think anybody's going to be running a G7. I would run a G7, but I'm also strange. So... yeah, I think I'd drop it down to C. 30-30 C, I agree. There's better guns on the list. The Spitfire is so annoying to deal with. I hate the Spitfire with a burning passion. You guys are okay. L-Star C. Okay, does the L-Star belong higher up? Should we move the L-Star up to B? And you guys are ranking it higher for ranked. Keep in mind that teams play really aggro in ranked. Like you guys, you're gonna get pushed. You're gonna get pushed in. I love the G7 and the 3030. Okay, well, you know what? Middle ground. We'll raise a G7 and 3030 to B. They're practically the same gun of where we move them. Okay, we'll move them up a little bit. We'll move them up. Too few attachments for L-Star. I know the L-Star, but you're not going to see anybody at the end zone with an L-Star. I don't know who you would see at the end zone with an L-Star. It's just weird. You would prefer to see them with like a Havoc or a Volt. That's why the Volt is so high up. Spitfire, I agree. The Spitfire is absolutely broken. The gun is disgusting. You just constantly just go pew 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 pew. It's really broken. It's really good. And that's why they keep nerfing it. But maybe now it's a little... What's up, Targets? Good to see you. Yeah, and there's nobody in B yet, so I agree with that. The Wingman is so good right now. If you don't agree that it's S, I think you're sleeping on it. Wingman A? Am I giving the Wingman too much credit here? I love the Wingman. I run the Wingman all... Like, literally, I've run Lopa, and I'll just grab the Wingman in ranked. I said the end zone, you see Noko with it. Okay, fine. We'll move the L-Star up. I get it. If no Coco's running it, fine. We'll move it up. We'll move it up just a little bit because it is better than RE. It's better than Longbow, better than Alternator. Fair. I can agree with that. That's a good consensus there. The Havoc. If you're putting the L-Star in B, then you're putting the Havoc on A. You have to. And I think you would put the Devotion as well on A, because if you had a turbocharger, they're kind of interchangeable between those two. They're both really strong. One of them is, Mouse 1 and Win, and the Havoc is really, really strong as well. You kind of have to put them in the same boat. I can't talk. But you have to agree that the Volt is S tier, and you cannot... I don't think you can say the Volt is equal to the Havoc or turbocharger unless it has a turbocharger on it, right? Flatline is below Spitfire. The Spitfire is broken. It's Mouse 1, dude. Everyone despises the Spitfire. That's why it got nerfed. Maybe because of the nerf, it drops. Maybe because of nerf, but I don't have enough playtime playing with a Spitfire and noticing the nerf. I just know when I run into somebody with a Spitfire, the gun is just absolutely just decimates. This tier list is whack. How are you going to have 7 S tier weapons? Well, this is for ranked. Ryan, we're talking about like ranked. I mean, you can have multiple S tier. And keep in mind that all these are all different. These are all different categories, man. Wait a minute. Come on, dude. They're all different categories. Like so far we've done pretty good about different categories. You can even run a Wingman with a Spitfire just because you're going to hold so much heavy ammo. I think we've done pretty decent here. I think this isn't bad. PK is S tier. Everyone was so keen on the EVA being S tier that the Massive and PK have to be on the same line. This is probably the biggest S tier event. I mean, can we just all agree that the guns are all really good and just drop them all in S tier? I'm just kidding about that. EVA should be A. Everyone spams saying S, which a lot of big streamers run the EVA. I've run the EVA. The EVA is disgusting. So the Mastiff and the PK, I don't feel comfortable putting it immediately on S because then you just can't have 3 shotguns in S. It doesn't make any sense. So we're going to put the Mastiff on A. PK is A tier. We're going to put both these on A tier because people are saying B and A on the PK, and these are practically the same guns. And the only difference between these guns is how comfortable you are with the bullet velocity. The Mastiff is trash. Dude, the Mastiff is crazy still. I'll take a Mastiff any time of day. I think the Mastiff is fine. I don't think that it's the end of the world. Shotties are A except for EVA. Nice, a Squirtle. Sorry, roommate came in with a Squirtle. Masses are more reliable. We're going to put these on the same line because we're going to have this debate all day and there's no way that anybody's going to agree that the PK or Massive is better. That's like running, I don't know, there's no way. There's no way we're going to agree on that. And nobody would, you know? The Mastiff is bad. I don't know. The Mastiff is still really... Okay. I'm reading what you guys are saying. Mastiff is B tier. I like the Mastiff. Should I put my personal bias away on it? Mastiff, but if you have a purple bolt on it. Sorry if we leave it off because I have no noise gate on. How is PKA? It should be S. We're gonna leave it at A, okay? We're gonna leave it at A because we cannot have every single shotgun on S. Okay, let's move on. The Sentinel we'll put it on C. I agree. And then the charge rifle is S because it's completely broken. Every pro is annoyed by it and doesn't like it. Now for the Hemlock, we'll put this at... The Hemlock is either A or B for ranked. I know a lot of pros run the Hemlock. It's better than the 30-30, so let's put it at A. Bocek bow is A. And the Prowler is A. Based on this list. We have a lot of guns at S and A, meaning that a lot of these guns are very much interchangeable. If somebody runs up on you with one of these weapons, it means that you're going to get knocked by something. But if anybody runs on you with a B or C in rank, then you're going to get stomped on and probably going to lose. Hemlock B? Okay, you're saying B on Hemlock, but then you're saying that it's equal to the 30-30? Is definitely S. We'll put it... I think we should put the Prowler S. Okay, I'll move the Prowler up to S. I'll move it up to S. I'm moving it up. Fair. I think that's fair. Because it's... Yeah, okay. Spitfire, I think A after nerf. Well, I haven't had enough time with the Spitfire after the nerf. I mean, because I don't use the Spitfire enough. Move R99 to A, but we... Chat, this is a... I need to ask this question from you guys. If you ran into a care package, and I want to see it in chat right now, if you had the R301, the R99, literally in your hands, which one would you grab? In chat right now, R301, R99, which one? What would you do? Because whatever one doesn't get voted enough gets dropped down to A. Like if somebody had a gun to your head and said you pick the R3 on the R99, you got to pick one or else you die. Which one would you pick? Are you gonna stream tomorrow as well? Yeah, I am. Well, holy crap! Looks like it's R301. Everyone's got a gun to their head and everyone's grabbing R301. Okay, I'm dropping down the R99 to A then. Everyone has spoken. I can agree with this. This is very clear that this is an R301 chat. So if anybody's watching this VOD and is like, I can't believe you dropped down the R99 to A, well, it's because everyone in chat is an R301 fanboy and it's not my fault. I also like the R301, so I'll put my own little personal bias on there. Okay, moving on. Now we are done with the ranked tier list. Let's talk about Arena. Let's talk about Arena, guys. Let me remove this and let's reset. Let's talk about Arena. For Arena, this one's going to be really easy to do right off the rip. And you guys are sleeping on this gun if you guys say otherwise. But it's completely broken for Arena. Is the S tier weapon. Let me put up Arena list now. Boom. Arena list. Okay. L-Star. S tier. S tier gun costs like nothing. It's easy. Every pro is running the L-Star. The L-Star is an absolutely broken gun in Arena right now, just so you're aware. It's so good. Don't sleep on it. This is an easy one for S tier as well. Wingman. Wingman is so good. That's a W right there. The Volt is S tier in Arena. That's also an easy one to throw there. Now, this is where it starts to get really tricky. I don't see a whole lot of people running the longbow in Arena except for me, because I'm really strange. I do not see a lot of people running the G7. I do not see almost anybody running the 30-30. The Sentinel. I see less of the bow, so I'm going to put it at A. There's no... Kraber is S tier if it comes in the care package. That's... I don't know if it even comes in the care package. Mozambique is a free weapon. P2020 is a free weapon. Nobody in Arena is running RE45. I don't care what you... This doesn't make any sense. Why would you spend your money on RE45 when you can grab like an alternator or something? Yeah, the reason All-Star is S, it costs like nothing. Sentinel's B? You're going to spend money on a Sentinel when you can grab yourself a Wingman, a Volt, or an L-Star? G7 good for Arena. It's a sleeper, cheap, and versatile. I agree. I honestly, all these guns at the bottom I've ran before in Arena. I have. But you got to remember you're spending money. RE45 it does. I don't think it's really strong whatsoever. I think it needs to be free or close to free, like 50 points. Best gun in Arena in Mozambique. It's cheap. I mean, it's cheap. It's free, right? All right, let's keep on with the list. Prowler. I don't know if it's in the care package, but if it's care package, it's S. R301 is S. R99, since we agreed before in the prior list, is A. Devotion's really cheap as well. I don't know. I don't see a whole lot of people running the Devotion. I'll put it at B, and I'll put the Havoc at B as well. I don't see a whole lot of people running these guns. Why is nobody running the Havoc in the Devotion in Arena? I've only run the Havoc like once or twice. I'll pick up the L-Star over it. G7 to Sentinel 1 up. Fine, we'll move it up 1. Yeah, I can see that. It's better than the Longbow and the 3030, so we'll move those up. We'll move them up. Devotion is trash in Arena, so should we drop the Devotion down to C? Maybe because of the cost? Remember, this is Arena. Costs too much to buy turbo. It's true. True. It costs a lot to get the turbo, man. It's very expensive. Very expensive. I don't even know if you get enough points for anything. We'll leave these because they need upgrades to be really efficient. We'll look at this list and kind of compile it all together at the end. The Eva is really cheap. I'm going to move it up to A. The Eva was S tier in the prior list. Why use Sentinel when you have a bow? That's why I have Sentinel at B and the bow at A. The Mastiff and the PK are probably around... It costs a lot to upgrade the Bolt. They're either going to go from B to C or vice versa. I'm not really quite sure. I'm on bow S for the cost. You can't buy the turbocharger for Devo in Arena. Okay, well I've never used them. I barely use them. Like I will run a Wingman all the time. RE B tier because it's so cheap. But wouldn't you prefer to run an L-Star or other guns? Like there's so many other guns here that are also cheap that you would run. Massive C tier. I don't know, but I mean it's better than an RE. It's better than a 3030 and a longbow, right? Yes, the L-Star is S tier. Go play right now Arena and run the L-Star. It's absolutely broken. Only 400 points and go shred people. It's so broken, dude. Is A tier in Arena? Alternator? Chat, where would you put the alternator on this list? A or B? Can I get in chat? A or B? Somebody said S. I want to know the consensus on alternator because I have a hard time with this. I'll let, obviously, the stream to catch up, but I just want to know. This one's a tricky one of where we're going to place it. Alternator A or B? Ooh, man. Okay, that's tricky. I see a lot more A's than B's at the moment. Let's move it up to A because we don't have a lot there. It's very stable and it's very consistent damage, which is really good. We're on at A, especially if the rounds end, because somebody made a comment and I agree with this. If you keep playing, then it drops off. But then if you finish the rounds early, then I think it should sit around round A. It depends on the length of the rounds. Length of the rounds for the price. Okay, I agree with that. Spitfire is A. I've seen people start off with a Spitfire and shred. The nerf may adjust this. We'll have to see. Triple take is a care package weapon, so that's S. Charge rifle. I guess you can run it on A. Who's buying a charge rifle in Arena? It's really weird if you're running a charge rifle in Arena, because you don't have any close range weapons if you're upgrading that. I'm going to keep it at B, because I feel like some people would argue that it doesn't belong in the same sitting as like the longbow. We'll put it down to B. It just, if you get too much of the charge rifle, you literally have nothing for close range, like absolutely nothing. And it doesn't make any, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We have two more guns. We got the Hemlock. I think we're going to put all these at A. They're really good guns. I think some of them are slept on more than the others, but I think they're better than all the weapons at B, but they're not better than S, and they belong over in A. So before we move on, are there any massive changes to this list that you would say, Daz, this is not smart at all? Change this list ASAP. Is S because it's cheaper than the R301, has higher DPS if you land your shots? Well, then I push to you guys in chat. Do you think Arena's fun? It feels I think it's fun. It's a nice change of pace. Mosin B, don't put in a last. But it's free. These are free guns. It's hard to debate these when they're free. You can't go wrong with it. Flatline S tier? Fair. We'll put it up to S. I don't run a lot of flatline, but it's mostly because when I'm in arenas, I'm literally running Wingman or L-Star or Volt. But I'll put it up to S. And Hemlock change to B. I guess that's true. I think that's a good adjustment there. It balances out the chart a lot more. It balances it. Longbow is B. I rank it higher, but I think a lot of people would disagree with me. Charge rifle C gives the enemy your position. Matchmaking range has been random. Mosin second for good for economy. But these are memes, so those are free. We're just putting at the bottom. If you try the longbow for one match, you realize why I'm typing caps. Dude, I love the longbow. I run the longbow. Like the start, it comes with a 6x. I really love it, but I have to keep in mind that people play on console and they probably despise the fact that it has a 6x on there. But remember, this is Arena, so you have to think of like the economy. So let's look at this. L-Star is overpowered. Wingman is really good. Volt is good. These are care package weapons. Everyone loves the R301. Triple take, flatline, and S. Okay. Bow is A. It was S before, but it's not as broken as it was. R99 is really strong. Alternator strong. These are good alternatives back and forth. EVA 8 looks good. Spitfire also really good. It starts off with, I think, the irons, which is why I don't use the Spitfire that much. Devotion, Havoc, these are interchangeable. You'd probably rather go for an L-Star or Volt, which is why these drop down to B. G7 Scout is slept on. Swipe moves up to B. I really like the G7, but everyone runs up close and personal. The Sentinel is very potent, but once somebody runs up on you, you need to have another gun, which means that the economy is kind of struggling. The shotguns, unless they have bolts, these are quite slow. And there's other guns that will do a lot more damage, and you have to kind of close the gap. The charge rifle gives away your positioning. The Hemlock is effective, but the Spitfire and the Flatline are better for Arena in terms of economy and choice, and for DPS. The Longbow, I want to personally move up, but I feel like everyone will disagree with me on it. 30-30. I know nobody likes the 30-30. The RE45 is cheap, but it's not better than all the guns in B, and these are free weapons. Okay. Let's move on because we have more on the list to discuss. There's quite a bit. Let's talk about tournament list. Let me drop all this. Let's drop all this. For tournament usage. What are people utilizing tournaments? Now, this is going to be hard because there's been a lot of weapon adjustments. The ones that I'm going to leave on here for tournament, like can we just agree the Kraber and the other weapon are just consistent? Longbow is B. We'll do a mental note saying that the longbow should be B. Because I already reset the list. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I like the longbow. I love the longbow so much. Okay, like you don't understand. Like I play Battlefield. I love the longbow. For tournament, R301 is definitely S. The bow sits probably, I'm guessing, for tournament A. The Eva is S. The wingman is S. Triple take is S. L-star for tournaments. B or C. For ranked, I know No Coco runs it. We'll leave it at B. Prowler is S. G7 Scout is... For pros, honestly, if you get a 3x on the G7, it's really good for tournaments. Remember, we're talking about tournaments, though. Tournament usage. And this is going to be a bit of prediction. Because this is hard because we haven't had as many tournaments at the moment as we would like. Now, P2020 is free down below. Tournament. Nobody's running alternator in a tournament at the very end. R99 is going to be A. The RE45 is going to be C. You don't see anybody running that in a tournament. Spitfire was run heavily in tournaments before. The Volt is also run heavily in tournaments as well. PK and Mastiff. PK being back on the floor. I don't think pros will pick up the PK as much. I think they'll run the Mastiff more than the PK just due to sheer experience. Mozambique is free, or not free, but low tier weapon. Flatline is either S or A. I'll get feedback from the chat. Havoc, A. Poke damage for longbow is that. This is C for 30-30. Charge rifles like S in tournaments. Sentinel's a B. Hemlock for tournaments. B, it's better than a 30-30. Ammo is really scarce in tournaments, so the Devotion struggles more. So that goes around B. Okay, I have a lot here. This one is hard. Okay, chat? This one is hard for tournaments. So I had to kind of balance this out a little bit. Now, we can change this list before we lock it in. Okay? And we can move this. But this one's going to be really hard because we don't have enough information right now. Massive is easy S for tournaments? I don't really know about that. Flatline R301 is pretty much equal. Flatline R301, okay. Would you move the Spitfire down? In terms of swap Flatline and Wingman? You think the Wingman in tournament usage is down to A? I don't know about that one. I guess for tournament, maybe. I would, if I was playing in a tournament, I'd run Wingman, but I haven't played in a tournament in a hot minute. How many last circles do you see running a Wingman? That's a good point. That is a good point. They're mostly going for consistent spray damage, so that's fair. But it's really strong though, you know. It's good for poke damage, so I guess that's why it drops down to A. Spitty is A. Is it because of the nerf? And I can raise up the Sentinel as well to A for tournaments. Remember, long range and poke damage do really well. Well, Spitfire was massively utilized because of the 3x, but the problem is that not a lot of people have run as many tournaments as of late, like official ALGS tournaments. Why is it better than the R99? Ammo difference from the R301. It's mostly just ammo difference. What do you use to work out? You mean like pre-workout? Mastiff Eva. The Eva for pros is always, everyone goes towards the Eva for tournament. We're talking tournament list. The Wingman's great weapon, but still. Spitfire is S for tournament. Well, people say the Flatline is higher. That one's tough. The Mastiff, I don't agree that it should be S. It's really good, but the Eva 8 is a lot more consistent. It might be a personal preference thing for most pros in that one. With all the extra cells every game Sentinel, bow is B. For pros in a tournament, you drop down the bow down. Bow is B for bow. Let's talk through line by line each of these and the justification of what we put here. How'd you make your thumbnail? Eddie's an amazing thumbnail artist. Will this be a video? Yes, and I'm gonna timestamp all of it. Everything will be timestamped. So Kraber is a one-shot. Every pro despises it. R301 is very consistent, so that every pro runs it with a 3x as well as other sights. Very strong. EVA 8, very consistent. Damage and DPS across the board, so it's a W. Triple take. It's poke damage. You can't really say no to that. Oh, you meant like physically? Oh, I'll do that in another video. I'll do that for another video. Prowler, I mean, if you get that at a care package, it's a W. Volt is extremely strong. SMG. At one point, I've seen pros literally run 2 volts in a pro tournament. Charge rifle, extremely good for poke damage, and the flatline for consistent DPS, which people are claiming now is better than Spitfire. I guess is a good prediction because the Spitfire has been nerfed, so we don't really know where it sits. The bow, I don't know the meta because remember that we're not quite sure where it'll sit at the end of the day. So the prediction is A for now, because I think everyone else will run a different gun. I think it'll have a lot of big plays, but no pros using Mastiff. Fair. We'll drop it down to B. We'll get to that line in a second. The G7 has been run by a lot of pros, and if you slap a 3x, I think it's really strong for poke damage. R99, still popular among pros. Wingman, not seen in Last Circle, but still a really strong pick early on. Spitfire, same opposite difference. Not as strong early on, but good for end zone. You're just spraying and praying. Havoc. I don't see the Havoc as much in tournaments. I think people will drop it for a Volt. For tournament, I'm dropping the Havoc, especially for ammo count. Longbow, good for pick damage. Sentinel, good for pick damage because people are at a distance. L-Star, all the energy weapons, I think, kind of sit within that bucket. PK, Mastiff are like the same gun depending on what you're comfortable with because it comes with a choke. Mastiff, I think pros, remember pros is all about consistency and feeling comfortable. The PK being on the ground loot, it depends how comfortable they feel again. So we'll move those between these two categories because some people are saying Mastiff A, some people are saying Mastiff C. So we'll stick in the middle for prediction and tournament and put it in B. Hemlock is B, really strong in terms of tournament, good for poke damage as well. These you barely will see at the end of tournaments and everything. If you're running that, that'd be really strange. Okay. I'm going to lock this in because I feel like we talked high level what every weapon is, and we'll move on. Again, these are predictions, so I'm going to add at the very end here, you know, just so when people come back to the VOD, this was a heavy prediction usage, right? Prediction usage. We'll even make it even bigger when we're talking about it. Prediction. Prediction. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about what the casuals use. What are casuals using in their favorite guns? This one's going to be me guessing on what casuals feel most comfortable using that are, I guess you could say easy guns. What are easy guns for casuals to use? That they're really good at just getting a one-shot kill. Right? The casual list. What do you see casuals running around with all the time? You see casuals running around with a Devotion. Casuals love the mouse ones. They'll run around with a, remember, casual. What are the casuals running with? Like just running around and Spitfire. Agreed. They love their Spitfires. Like when you see somebody who's like barely played the game comes home and is like they have like 2 hours worth of experience, you know, casual R301. I agree with that. You'll never see them with a G7 because they can't land single shots. No offense to any casuals. I think they'll put the bow at the B list because they suck with the bow. No offense to any casuals. The wingman probably a B because they're going to miss their shots. They'll run an R99 probably around A. The alternator for them is S because it's super easy. The L-Star is super easy, so they'll probably run it at S. The shotguns are all going to be around A for casuals. A triple take is S. A prowler is S for them. A Volt for a casual, they prefer to grab a Devotion or L-Star. They'll run a Havoc. They're going to suck with the longbow. They're not going to be very good with the Sentinel. With a flatline, they'll put it at S. 30-30 will be a C. RE45 will be like an A or B. We'll put it at B. A Hemlock for casuals, maybe B. A charge rifle, S, because it's hit scan. And honestly, this is just a meme video. What do you mean it's a meme video? Meme stream turned into a video? So this is for casuals. Casuals that are running around. Okay, I'm going to put all the other guns for casuals on S. What are the easiest guns for them to run in with? A casual can one-shot with a Kraber accidentally. They can mouse one with the Devotion. They can mouse one with the Spitfire. They love the R31 little recoil. They love the alternator. They love the triple take. The L-Star is spray and pray as well. Prowler is a care package weapon, so they go, ooh, candy, it's free. Flatline is... Maybe the Flatline's A. Because it's easier for them to use a Spitfire, so they'll grab a Spitfire instead. Charge rifle is hit scan, so they... I mean, can't really miss with it, right? EVA 8, all the shotguns. Let's drop the EVA 8 down to A. Let's be real. You've gotten one shot by a new player in the game by a massive in PK, and you're like, how in the world did they do that? And all they did was just run up on you with their face, and they can't miss. But they will miss with the EVA because they're not consistent with their shots. Actually, I'm going to drop the EVA down to B for casuals. I don't see casuals do very well with the EVA. The R99, they can just run up on you and just mouse one. Struggle with, I agree with that. Let's drop down because they struggle with recoil. The Volt has less recoil. That's A. Havoc is A. Flatline is A. The bow, a lot of the casuals are saying the bow is balanced, and that's because they can't hit their shots. The Wingman, they can't hit their shots. The RE45, they'll grab the other guns. They struggle, the casuals, I think, between RE45 and the R99. The Hemlock. Casuals, yeah, I think I'll move that up to B. Or A, excuse me. The EVA 8, I see a lot of casual struggle with the EVA 8. R99, the recoil is too much. The G7, single shot. Longbow, single shot. Sentinel, single shot. 30-30, single shot. Like, getting fallout from... Expecting that from a casual is asking too much. So these are for casualists. The casuals, what's easy to utilize. I'm actually really confident on this list. I'm not gonna lie. I have 81 hours of experience. Is it good? Havoc C tier for casuals? You think casuals struggle with the Havoc? I can drop it down. I can probably drop that down if you think. Sentinel should be a little higher. For casuals? I don't know. I always think, like, Charge Rifle is B because I think it's got a weird learning curve, but it's hit scan. Like, I don't know. It's like you literally mouse one and they can do a lot of damage to you. We'll move the Sentinel up one then. We'll move it up one for the casual. We'll move the Havoc down to B. I think we'll adjust that. Back then, the Hemlock made 22. Casuals used to it. Yeah, it sucks now for them. Well, I need more guns than A. Is the casualist just confusing because they don't know what to run? Is that what it is? Greater than Wingman? The casuals would run the Mozambique, sure. We'll put that. We talking PC? Do you think the casual will run a Mozambique? Should we just move it from the Mozambique here and assume that a casual will run a Mozambique? Bow is easy A. Okay, we'll move the bow up just in case I accidentally snag a shot. I think casual prefer longbow than sentinel. We'll flip-flop those. Drop Diva out of S, but they mouse one. Literally, I don't know. I don't know. Drop L-star to A. Okay, that's fair. So we don't flood it with too many ones up there. I just get frustrated when I get rolled up by somebody who's new to the game and they just mouse one me with the Devo. It's really annoying. Fist should be here. That's true. Everyone's punching you. I think this is a solid list. I think we kind of balance it out. Of like when somebody runs up on you and they're brand new to the game, they have 5 hours. If they hit you with a Kraber, it's frustrating. When they mouse one you with a Devo or a with that longbow for Sentinel. Oh, that's tough. Remember, okay, the reason why the Sentinel's lower for casuals is because the casuals really struggle with the rate of fire slower on the Sentinel. You gotta give them a little bit more shots to follow up on. I think Eva is A. For casuals, no. I don't know. I see a lot of casuals struggle with the Eva. This is his balance. Diva without hop up is B. I don't know. I hate when they run up, you know? Looking at this list, I feel pretty confident about it, though. For casuals, I think this is not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, let's move on. Bow with tempo A tier, with shatters B tier. Yeah, I agree with that. I haven't been doing hop up, as I've been trying to just do the base game. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. Seriously, if you guys are enjoying the stream, I'm trying to do as comprehensive as of a list as possible. But Mozambique gets its own category along with P2020. All right, let's move on because we have 3 more categories and we've been going for like forever. And then timestamping this is going to be an extremely long video. Okay, let's reset. Next list is offensive list. If you're pushing and you want a gun in your hand, close quarters. Let's talk about the ratings of close quarters versus long range, right? So that's what I mean by offensive list. So like close quarters guns. I'll put in parentheses there. Close quarters. Like if somebody rolls up on you and they're right in your face, what would you prefer to see? What would you want in your hands in that moment? And this is a harder list. This. Like what would you prefer in your hands for close quarters? Like if somebody was just like within like 5 meters of you. Well, that's easy because you can move all the shotguns for close range. Mozambique gets its own category. P2020, you don't want that in your hands. Wingman is debatable. I would put it at S. So I'm going to find the middle ground and say A. Kraber. Man, half the people at close range miss their shots to the Kraber, so that's A. Like point blank, they're right in your face, and you try to hip fire and they suck and they miss a shot, you're pretty much dead. Volt is S tier close range. R99 is S tier close range. The triple take is basically a shotgun, but it's got a slow rate of fire. Spitfire goes 3030 S, G7 S, or sorry, C. 3030 C, G7 C, Charge Rifle C, Prowler S, R301 S, Devotion A, L-Star for close quarter A, Bow A, Flatline S, Longbow C, Eva A, REC, Alternator B, Sentinel. Out of any of the snipers, like I would take, it has the highest damage spike out of all of them, so I'd raise that just higher than all these other ones. The Hemlock, the problem is the hipfire is nerfed, so it can't be on A, it has to be B. The Havoc A. So for close quarters, I think this is pretty close. You think the longbow or the bow close range? Okay, I'll drop it down to B, because I mean it's like, I guess they're like the same, the Sentinel and the bow. I'll drop down the bow check to B. For close, like if somebody ran up on you, close quarters, having a Mastiff is fair, that's S. PK is S. Volt is S. R9 because they're SMGs. Spitfire go brr. Prowler is care package, so it's OP. R301 is just like an S, and you know, just flatline. Those are god tier weapons. Wingman, you got to land on your shots. So if you can land your shots, then yeah, you're gonna slap people close range. Depends on your accuracy. I want to move it to S, but some will disagree with me. Kraber. If you miss your shot, you either got the scope or you hit fire RNG. Same thing with a triple take. It's a good shotgun, but you need some precision behind it. Should I move the triple take up? S? I don't know. I don't know about that. Devotion A, because close quarter, just spray and pray. R301 is A, you think? Can I get a consensus in chat real quick? R301, where does it sit? A or S? Can we type that in chat real quick? Because otherwise I'm getting close to finalizing this list for offensive. Thoughts? R301, S or A? I'll give a moment for chat to catch up, and then giving a shout dominates. Triple take is good in A. Okay. I see mostly S's. Oh man, this is now going a lot of A's. For close quarters. Oh man, you guys are really split on this one. I see more S's. I at one point saw a lot of A's come through. But now I'm more set on this being on... We'll just leave it at S. We'll leave it at S. It's got a nice mag. There's like a little recoil if somebody runs up on you. L-Star equals R301 close quarter. That's a really solid statement. Maybe we'll drop down the R99 to A then. It's a close quarters weapon. That's what it's designed for. We'll leave it. Let's just leave it. Let's not overthink this. We can debate it all day. The reason why the L-Star sits at A is because, well, when you get a fully attached out R301, then that's a little bit nicer, you know? We'll leave this. I think this is good. This has been a really long stream, so let's keep pushing through. Okay, so this is the close quarters. Like if somebody ran up on you and right in your face, this is what you're looking at, right? All right, let's reset. Let's do defensive lists next. On this defensive list is going to be long range. Your long range weapons, right? Let's put this over. There we go. So long range list. Let's Mozambique and P2020 stay the same. This one should be pretty easy. I mean, the categories kind of explain themselves. Okay. Kraber, this is an easier list. Kraber is S. Charge rifles S. Longbow and Sentinel are A. I may change that. I may move them up. The bow can be around an A. Ooh, I may need to change them. I'm gonna have to come back to this. The Mastiff is C for long range. Remember, long range. Like if you're trying to do some poke. Eva 8, C. PK has got a choke, so that moves up to B. L-Star sucks at any sort of range to the bullet velocity, so that's a C. Alternator around distance, controlling recoil, probably around an A. R301 for mid-range to long range, still an S, because you can put a anvil receiver. Same with the 30-30, or same for the flatline. 30-30. A or B? Probably A. Wingman A, dropping down the 30-30 to B if Wingman is A. Havoc is B. Volt. Easy to control recoil, honestly. A. Ooh, I dropped it down to B. Devotion, C. It's got a lot of kick. Prowler for ranged. Probably B. RE45, easier to control recoil. At a distance, you can put a B or C. G7 is A. If anything, it might be C or S. G7's really good. Spitfire. It goes brr. I know it's been nerfed, so I'm going to predict B. Range for Hemlock. I know you can put it single tap, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Triple take is S. R99. C for recoil. Okay, let's look at this list. For range, long range shots. The Kraber 100% belongs S. Charge rifle 100% belongs S. R301 S. Get us 3x. The thing slaps. It's really good. Flatline. Solid. Ooh. Horizontal. Recoil though. Oh, it's got anvils. Anvils. That's why I said anvils. So it can be S because it's got anvil receivers. It's flexible. Through a triple take. Yes. S. Longbow and Sentinel and bow all can be kind of interchangeable when they're rolling their damage. The hard part is the velocity of the bow, but it does more damage than the longbow. Sentinel S? You think the Sentinel for... I guess so. Fine. I think all the snipers should be up there, and we'll put the bow on A. I think that's fair. Alternator? Let's put it... the recoil's so easy, though. The recoils are so easy to control. G7 R301. The irons suck on it at the start. I'm trying to compensate for the irons that come at the start too. Wingman is a bit terrible. That's why I put the bow and the wingman on the same line. They just do a lot of spike damage, and the right hands they do really well. Trust me. I mean, I use it. It's really strong. Like if you're trying to hit somebody from a distance. The G7 has slow bullet velocity, so that's why it struggles. And you can... I might be giving the alternator way too high up here. Eva C. Yeah, I agree. The alternator, I think I'm giving it way too much credit. Even you drop down the PK down to C, even though it's got the choke. You're making armor for amber for long range. then a scope works too. I mean, you could put a 3x on it. Like, you can do a lot of heavy pick damage. Hemlock probably A. Yeah, I can see that. I'm down with dropping the PK down to C. It is consistent. It's not like you're going to see somebody ever trying to snipe with it. That'd be kind of weird. It's definitely better if I were to do this left to right, which I hadn't thought about before. Technically, for range, for full class, it's for range though, man. Like, who's going to try to spray you from a distance with R98 with the recoil? I mean, you could try. Yeah, I agree with that. As even with the Volt? Okay, fine. We'll drop the alternator so this makes a little bit more sense, because you can't put a sight on it for long range. The 30-30 should realistically go up then, because that's what it's designed for. It's realistically what it's designed for, and then all of these spray weapons are better. Yeah, this looks like a lot healthier of a list, honestly. I agree. Let's go through it one more time. Kraber, 100%. Charge rifle hit, scan from a distance. R301. Flatline have anvils, and they're really strong, versatile for long range. For mid range, triple take is disgusting. Longbow, sentinel for hitting long range shots. Then, as the bullet velocity slows down with the bow check and the wingman, it gets harder to hit those shots. But if you can, they do good spike damage. The G7 is solid, but slow bullet velocity, along with a 30-30. They can be interchangeable in a way, but you can put a 3x and a 2x4, which is good. Same thing with a Hemlock for single tap fire. For spray weapons, if you're trying to shoot somebody from a distance, you can put a 3x on the Havoc, but you're kind of weird if you do it. The Volt is pretty good to control a spray recoil compared to the R99. Alternator is really easy to control the spray. The Prowler, I mean, it's a care package weapon. Spitfire go brrr. PK, strong at C. Eva 8, strong at C. L-Star, yeah, this makes sense. This is a solid list. This is a solid list. I would drop the Havoc down to C, but you can put a 3x on it, dude. I know you could put a 3x on the Devotion, but there's just... Makes me want to raise the Devotion then. I don't know, the Devotion's designed for close range, and you're just spraying bullets for the sake of it at that point. You start to question, like, why aren't you using your single tap weapons? Like, the Havoc, I've used a 3x and been very consistent with it before. You know? At least that's where I've kind of sat with it. Okay. Now, we're going to wrap up here in a second. And we're going to do various categories now of every single weapon. This is my personal weapon category list that we're going to kind of wrap up with. Again, if you've enjoyed this discussion, I will timestamp everything for all of you guys that are here, and we'll break all this down. So we're going to do categories based on energy, light, and so forth. These are going to be my personal picks on this based on category. If I were to do like a poll or like an order of S. The Mosing, I'm just going to leave it there, even if it's not the right category we're looking at. My personal, this is like just to wrap up, like when people ask me for my own personal list, essentially. Let me go up. For energy weapons, I would do the Volt. And again, these are personal picks. And then I would do the Havoc here, the Devotion, and then the L-Star. That's my energy weapon picks for that. Now, for care package weapon picks, I would go Kraber, Triple Take, and Prowler, and there really is no C. Like, if I had a choice of what any of those came out as. For heavy weapons, I would put the Wingman up top. Then I would do a... Where's the Flatline? Flatline in A. I would do a Hemlock at B. And I put the 30-30 and Spitfire deserves to be higher up. But my personal weapon category list, I feel dirty using the Spitfire, so I refuse to use it. That's why, honestly, I put in the meme on Spitfire. I roll up and use a Spitfire. I feel dirty. I feel wrong. I feel like I should be in jail. Okay, that's my list for the heavy weapons. The bow is its own category now, so I'll probably put it in the sniper list. I like the longbow as my favorite sniper. Then I like the sentinel. The charge rifle I despise. I'll put the bow on. I can't choose between the sentinel and the bow. That's hard. I guess I'd pick the bow over the sentinel. I put it under the sniper category for now. That's my personal pick there. These are my personal thoughts. Again, for light weapons, I would do the R301. Then I would do the R99. Then I would do the G7. Then I would put the alternator. Then I would do the RE45 at the very bottom with the Mozambique list. along with the P2020 for light guns. Personal preference, personal thoughts, right? I'm gonna do the same thing now. I'm going to put in, which gun have we not discussed? My own personal preference. Shotguns. EVA 8 S tier. Mastiff A. PKB. Those are my personal thoughts on it. Yeah. So we covered heavy, we covered light, we covered energy, we covered care package, we covered shotguns. But yeah, these are all my personal list. Those are my own weapon categories. So again, we covered a lot of categories for today. Again, this was an Apex Legends weapon tier list, so I welcome all of you guys here. I know there's a marksman category, but I don't know. I'm just gonna put it in there. Oh, shotguns. I just discussed shotguns, right? I'll redo it again just for the sake of it. EVA 8S. Mozambique is Mozambique meme. I think Massive A and PK because I just suck with it. I just need to practice more with it. But those are my shotgun picks. Mozambique can go to C. Okay. That's the ultimate weapon tier list. I think we covered a whole lot here. The end there was just my categories in terms of weapons. Don't forget to leave a like on this. I'm going to turn this into a VOD. And I'm going to timestamp everything. This was a really long discussion. This is why I turned it into a stream. Because it was so much to discuss with every single gun. Again, I welcome all of you guys for being here. There was a lot of discussion that took place. I appreciate all of you guys for being a part. Don't forget to leave a like. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow for the gameplay stream. Thank you guys. I'll